The world as we know it doesn't exist anymore. It's 2100 and most of the world has suffered from flooding, fires, war and other circumstances that makes living on this planet not really bearable anymore for humans and also for animals. Project Leo is set out to help with that. And with these words, welcome to my brand new series on the channel, the Leo Sanctuary. In this one we are going to build a space station that is actually going to be a sanctuary for 10 habitats, in which you guys out there can decide which specimens we are going to secure and save. It's basically going to be a space ark, if you want to go with that, and it's going to be very much community and story driven. So if you want to be part of it, we are going to have a conversation in today's video in the comments, and you can argue for which animals we need to have. So we are going to have 10 modules connected to the main module that you're going to see in today's video, and I'm going to explain a whole bunch of story elements that we need to focus on, and you will have to give me a good argument to why you think which animals or even animal combination should go up here. So we'll have some capsules sent from Earth back with some animals in, but there's only so much space, and we are going to bring them into our sanctuary up here that is going to house them. It's focused on a 10 episode series after this one, so it's 11 series in total, because that one is the pilot, so to say, and it's really up to you how good and all this performs if we are going to manage to secure these animals. I have set myself some rules to when I'm eventually going to continue, and we just have to make it work with a certain amount of comments, a certain amount of interaction and engagement, obviously, to make this a very engaging series for all of you. Now, in the first part of today's video, we are going to make the hub, the main building element, so to say, of our entire space station. It's going to be crafted with the good old rotation trick around the mud pillar, and you do see that the building takes a little bit longer here, so you can see a bit more of the process of how I usually do this. This is all set in a diorama mode, so big thanks goes out to the lady designer actually, who showcased a video or like a park someone else built on an island recently, and this person has utilized the diorama in a very clever way to make it look like, well, actual sea. So I thought, if that's a thing, we can actually make this an actual space station, shall we? Now, there are a couple of, caveats that come with it. So one being, you can't really build in a rotated way. I wish to make like a ring, because realistically, this is how you would get gravity on. To be fair, we necessarily don't have gravity on these things. That's a little bit of an issue. So it's a geostationary space station to have a very good connection to what has remained on Earth. For those of you who don't know, a geostationary orbit means that the space station travels at the exact same speed as the Earth does above a certain location. So this way, this space station will remain on the exact point above Earth, simply because Earth is moving, and usually as soon as you do have a speed difference, it'll go in a different way and move. But you don't want to have it move, you want to have it in the same position, so to send things up and down in the most efficient way possible. Now this is obviously very much fictive over here, and we have to get in with a little bit of caveats here and there, and one of them being, and this is, as I said, the biggest, we can't get into like gravity as a theme, simply because I would have built this in a rotated way, like a circular way. That would be technically a station that rotates around its core to create artificial gravity, but we cannot do this. So I ended up doing the space station hub the way I did over here. So we just have to imagine that this is going to rotate later on, or has some other futuristic gravity features. Now, moving on to the next part, we also do have an actual landing pod over here. So the main hub in the center has been built. Unfortunately, I did need to cut out a couple of things because the recording was messed up, but you can see I already gave the main building, you'll see some cinematics at the end anyways, already kind of a nice little dome. Again, a little bit of a different caveat over here is simply because we are playing in this huge weird black area with full sunlight, because this is how space would look. As you can see, windows and screens and stuff tend to have this issue that they are very reflective, and with this tunnel over here, it's somewhat okay. I can definitely deal with that. But the problem, and this is certainly the biggest problem, is if you build like a proper dome out of it, you can't really see anything within that dome because everything is like super reflective. And so even though I had a hexagonal thingy, like the typical dome structure, which looked kind of dope, it just wasn't feasible. So I made one with implied windows, so you don't really have windows in there. And speaking of, radiation-wise, this is also not the best solution, but we need to make it look somewhat good. So in terms of making it awfully realistic, we would need to bring everything into like a huge indoor area that works with different light sources and stuff, because radiation is a thing. But we just assume that there is some technology in the year 2100 with some generators and stuff. More about that in future episodes. That'll help with this issue, like maybe artificial kind of radiation screens that are invisible, whatever. But yeah, as I said, the main module we are focusing on right now is the central hub on which people can actually go in and mostly researchers. I assume that this would not be like the biggest guest area to be in, so researchers is kind of the theme we're going for. And this is also the main reason why we will potentially have a lot of vets running around here in the later stages of the game. And maybe I'm opening up to some space tourists or something, like 500 at the end of the day, that'll be able to visit the zoo. We are going to have a huge conversation going on with some spaceships being in here or not. You'll see that with the cinematics. Again, couple of issues. I made this starship, which I would have loved to use. You've seen that maybe in yesterday's trailer. The problem is this abuses the piece count in this game so dramatically that I almost crashed the FPS before even starting. Just to make you aware of how many pieces I used, I can't even create a blueprint out of this anymore. Like, this Soul Starship build contained so many pieces that I couldn't even make a blueprint. I can't even move it. I can't move the freaking thing anymore. It's that many pieces involved. So yeah, I needed to deal with that. Also, one thing I want to feature in here is that this is already housing one animal, and that is the majestic peafowl. I should say that there is a little bit of a story why I brought this in now, and this is due to a series on Netflix we just recently caught up on. I'm not sure why we missed out on the series, but the series Manifest, I'm not sure if it's the same in English. In German it was called Manifest, was one of the single series I watched in German, because at a certain point I was like, what the hell, and I wanted to watch it with my wife. So yeah, we watched Manifest, and the peafowl has a huge meaning in that. Not that I'm buying too much into it. The series was kind of good. It wasn't the best I've ever seen, but it was very good indeed. Fun to watch, and we continued on, but that was mostly due to the actors being kind of good, I thought. But the peafowl had a good meaning to that, like a positive meaning at the end of the day, and thought why not have the peafowl being a central element in this build, being an animal roaming around in our central hub, really connecting the dots. And this is actually what the peafowl also resembles, like with its huge colorful feathers, and they already look like a hub. If you look in these little tiny eyes, it looks like they're all connected on these feathers. So this is a little bit of the story I wanted to tell with this central hub over here. Gosh, my English is broken today. Yeah, I'm very, very happy. Very happy with how it turned out, and I'm super happy and excited to read what you guys think we should secure. There's going to be a huge inspiration, hopefully, for you to do some good argumentations or good arguments to why I should get in which animal. And also because we know that there is going to be an update soon, and we actually will have news in 2 days' time on Monday, more or less. There will be a special live stream, and as it is always, we will know already about the free update beforehand. So my guess is that around 4 o'clock, or maybe 12. They also did that on noon, on lunch break, I don't know, but something like between 2 p.m. or between 2 p.m. 4 p.m. they will drop potentially the free update announcement, and then later this day they will have a special announcement live stream in which they will again hint a potential DLC. I'm very glad that I have no idea what is going on at all, so I'm very curious. But the good thing about this project, and this is why I hesitated to do this, but I just needed to put out the pilot right now because I'm so hyped about this project. I just wanted to make sure that we have the possibility to bring maybe some of the new animals in. However, that to say is not mandatory, you know? It's not mandatory to bring them in, so who knows what this DLC or update is aiming at. So maybe we are totally wrong, and we need to do something totally different. But the thing is, we can tie this into the story. You know, there's virtually, literally, and physically no limit in the space we have. So I really hope that this whole storytelling metaphor thing is a little bit more exciting for you now, getting a bit more engagement story over here. And I'll tell you a bit more about the organization who organized this entire thing up here. It's a little bit of a secret who made this. I have a whole backstory of that, so be excited for this. Make sure by liking, subscribing, and just engaging with the video, and obviously put down a comment which animals we should have in here and why. Make sure that this video gets its attention it deserves, and to make sure we are going on, because again, this will be, every single video is going to set out to have a target, and the target of this video is at least 100 comments with special ideas to which animals we should bring up in here. But you don't need to stop there, you don't need to stop with the animals. If you have certain other ideas what we need to have, for example greenhouses or something like that, let me know in the comments down below, because we need to tie something into the storage, because how would animals be fed? You know, how's the ecosystem? How are we going to do this? So there is something in my mind already, but we want to build this together, you know. So I'm very, very excited. It took quite a while to bring this together. It's looking easy now. It's looking very simple, but there was a lot of planning that goes into this, planning ahead, and there's a whole concept I have made for that. So maybe at a later stage I'm going to show that to you. Very curious to see what you guys come up with in the comments. So yeah, as I said, the first target is at least 100 comments. I don't want to say anything about views. I'm going to get there when we get there. But yeah, very excited to see. And so very excited to see what we can do with the potential DLC upcoming very soon. So yeah, so it's been a very long process of coming up with a new idea, and the limitation that I set myself to make this actually a 10, well actually it's 1+10 episode series, is just to make sure that you guys have a clear expectation, or you've got a clear idea what to expect, and your expectation is clear, so is mine, and I can really set out to make this in a feasible time frame. And because people asked already in yesterday's trailer and in some forum updates and stuff, or Discord updates, I said, it's definitely not meaning that I will not continue with Zoosicily or something. It's just like something in between, you know, a little bit of a side project, which hopefully is a reasonable limit in which we can finish it, and we will definitely go on with Zoosicily. As I said, given that we don't know the nature of the free update and the content of the potential DLC, it may well be the perfect thing to go on in Zoosicily. Who knows? But there are a couple of ideas I still have for Zoosicily. But also the upcoming release of City Skylines 2 will eventually take up some of my time, and that's why I wanted to start a new project now, to ensure that I can deliver stuff to you guys. So yeah, be excited for what we're doing as we are hitting the end of the video very soon with some cinematics. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, if you did enjoy that and don't mind my cracking voice, please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That would help me out. And please also check your subscription status, because recently YouTube has already been doing a little clean update, and some people lost the subscription, as I've figured. Now, yeah, just make sure if you see that you're subscribed, because that helps the algorithm the most to understand that you like my stuff. And also, well, if you have anything to say, drop it in the comments down below now. I grant you some more cinematics, and I talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much.